What's that smell? Is someone hosting a barbecue? Before we get into today's video, this series is sponsored by 1G ServerHost, a top-of-the-line server hosting platform running on the best hardware available. With 1G, getting a private server for you and your friends has never been easier thanks to their intuitive server configuration and top-notch customer support. If you're looking for a server hosting platform that will never let you down, pick 1G. Without further ado, let's get started. To put things simply, the FLAM-40 Flamethrower is a fun time. Despite being available for purchase at level 10, the Flamethrower by far is one of the best weapons in the game. As it is with the rest of the support weapons, it takes 7 seconds for the pod to hit the ground, and 480 seconds to come off of cooldown. As one would expect, the Flamethrower is exceptional at handling large groups of enemies, but is also capable of dealing significant damage to larger targets. Anything caught in its line of fire will be set ablaze, including the ground, which remains a hazard for the next several seconds. Unlike the other crowd control support weapons, the Flamethrower has a very short range. At best, I would estimate that the Flamethrower can only fire up to 10 meters over level ground, if not, then shorter. Additionally, this weapon in particular lacks any meaningful stopping power, meaning any targets close enough to make it dangerous to hit them with the Flamethrower will not be particularly deterred by it. Take this into careful consideration for when and where you decide to stand your ground, since your ability to move and turn will be reduced fairly considerably while using the Flamethrower. I'll admit, it may be slightly misleading of me to crown the M105 Stalwart as the king of crowd control against the Terminids when the Flamethrower exists, but I stand by that statement. While yes, the Stalwart is capable of quickly and efficiently dispatching large amounts of bugs, the FLAM-40 Flamethrower is capable of doing a similar job in a different situation. Being a conventional weapon firing bullets, a Helldiver armed with a Stalwart can only target a few hostiles at a time. Compare this to the Flamethrower. Yes, it has a significantly shorter range, and yes, it lacks stopping power. All of that is true, and yet in spite of this, a single Helldiver armed with the Flamethrower is capable of holding back an entire swarm of bugs to a certain extent. By carefully sweeping your stream of Hellfire back and forth, you can ignite large swaths of Terminids at once, quickly killing off anything short of the imposing Brood Commanders, who like to turtle up behind the thick armor of their front legs. Really, the only threat to a Helldiver and their Flamethrower, not including Chargers and Bile Titans, would be Terminid Hunters, who are capable of leaping at you and dealing hefty chunks of damage before being killed by your fire. However, this threat is fairly easily neutralized by having your squadmates prioritize protecting the flanks and killing Hunters before they become a threat. There's one additional ability of the Flamethrower that surprised me and firmly places it as one of, if not the best weapon overall against the Terminids: the ability to ignore the heavy armor of Chargers. Despite being deflected by a Brood Commander's forelegs, the Flamethrower is perfectly capable of setting Chargers ablaze with no issues. Being engaged by a Charger very quickly breaks your unit's cohesion, and it can be difficult to get anti-tank weapons around to bear on the weak points. Using a Flamethrower, you are capable of drawing aggression away from your squad, all while doing very real damage to the Charger. When used properly, a single tank of Flamethrower fuel is all it takes to kill a Charger. While sure, the Railgun is currently the de facto best anti-tank weapon in the game, if you haven't yet unlocked the Railgun, the Flamethrower is a great way to save on a rocket or two when fighting Chargers. I don't really know what to say here. While sure, incendiary weapons aren't entirely useless against the bots, and surprisingly the Flamethrower can make short work of their light and heavy infantry, I would never recommend running this weapon against the Automatons. Despite being able to kill bots fairly quickly, the Flamethrower's limited range simply means you're forced to be fighting in close quarters with a fairly unwieldy weapon that doesn't have the same alpha strike or stopping power of other weapons. Not only that, but you're also going to be incredibly exposed while using the Flamethrower, since it is difficult to use when in cover. Just don't use this weapon against the Automatons, it won't end well. The FLAM-40 Flamethrower is a ruthless weapon, and in my opinion is undeniably one of the strongest weapons against the bugs. No other weapons even come close to being able to match the Flamethrower's ability to simultaneously annihilate hordes of bugs while also preventing them from forcing you and your team to break away and disengage. Whether you're a pyromaniac or you just really love barbecues, this is the weapon for you. So long as you don't try to fight the bots with it, the Flamethrower is an unrivaled powerhouse in the Helldivers 2 arsenal. Thank you all for watching. If you are enjoying this series, please consider liking and subscribing. This is Nappa, Eye of the Apple, signing off.